Ladies and gentlemen, today, it's a true honor to speak with you about something that can profoundly impact our lives: change. Change is one of the most powerful forces in life, yet it's often met with resistance, fear, or reluctance. This is natural. We all have a comfort zone, a place where we feel safe, secure, and in control. But if we allow ourselves to remain in that comfort zone for too long, we may miss out on the incredible potential for growth that change brings. It's easy to get stuck in old patterns and habits, repeating the same routines, facing the same challenges, and dealing with the same frustrations. But what if we chose to see change not as something to be afraid of, but as a gateway to transformation? The truth is that change is inevitable. It is woven into the fabric of life. Everything around us, from the seasons to technology, from the world of work to our own personal growth, is constantly evolving. We can't control the fact that change will happen, but we can control how we respond to it. When we resist change, we deny ourselves the opportunities that come with it. But when we choose to embrace change, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and new versions of ourselves. Change can take many forms. It can be a shift in our career, a change in our relationships, or a transformation in our mindset. It can involve breaking free from old habits, adopting new routines, or overcoming challenges we once thought were insurmountable. But regardless of the type of change, one thing is certain: change leads to growth. Without it, we become stagnant, we stop evolving, and we stop realizing our full potential. For many, the idea of change is daunting because it requires stepping into the unknown. The fear of failure, the fear of making mistakes, or the fear of the unfamiliar can hold us back from taking that first step. But it's important to remember that change doesn't require perfection. It only requires courage. Even the smallest step in the direction of change is progress, and with every small step, we build confidence, resilience, and a deeper understanding of ourselves. When we embrace change, we allow ourselves to see opportunities where others may see obstacles. We begin to realize that failure is not a sign of defeat, but rather an essential part of growth. Every setback is a lesson, every challenge an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what lies ahead. The key is to shift our perspective. Instead of focusing on what we might lose or what might go wrong, we should focus on what we stand to gain: the skills, the experiences, the wisdom, and the growth that come with embracing change. The ability to embrace change starts with a willingness to be vulnerable. Change often requires us to let go of old ways of thinking, old beliefs, and even old identities. This can be uncomfortable, but it's through this discomfort that we begin to expand. We begin to discover new strengths, new passions, and new perspectives. Every time we step outside our comfort zone, we learn something valuable about ourselves. Another important aspect of embracing change is understanding that it doesn't happen overnight. Transformation is a process, not a one-time event. It's something that happens gradually through consistent effort, patience, and perseverance. Change takes time, but the results are well worth the effort. When we stick with the process, we begin to see the rewards of our commitment. We become more adaptable, more confident, and more equipped to face whatever challenges come our way. Change is also an opportunity to reevaluate our goals, our values, and our priorities. Life can become so routine that we forget why we're doing the things we're doing. But when we embrace change, we often find ourselves questioning what truly matters. We gain clarity on what we want out of life and are empowered to make the necessary changes to align ourselves with our true purpose. This newfound clarity gives us the strength to pursue our passions and build a life that is authentic and fulfilling. It's important to remember that change is not a destination, it's a journey that requires courage, patience, and a willingness to take risks. But along the way, we discover who we truly are and what we're capable of. Embracing change opens doors to new possibilities, new experiences, and new versions of ourselves that we never thought possible. The more we embrace change, the more we transform into the people we were always meant to be. So, rather than fearing change, let us welcome it as an opportunity for growth, discovery, and transformation. The choices we make shape our lives in profound ways, whether we realize it or not. Our current circumstances, the life we are living right now, are a direct reflection of the decisions we've made up until this point. This might seem like an obvious statement, but when we stop to think about it, it's quite empowering. The choices we make today determine the future we will experience. This realization offers us the ultimate freedom, the freedom to take control of our lives and change the direction we're heading, no matter where we currently find ourselves. We often hear the phrase, "Your past doesn't define you." And this is absolutely true. While your past choices have led you to where you are now, they do not have to dictate where you go from here. The power of choice lies in the fact that at any given moment, you can choose to make different decisions. Decisions that will lead you to a new outcome, a new reality. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that life is something that just happens to us, that we are victims of circumstances beyond our control. But the truth is, we are the architects of our own lives. Our choices, both big and small, are the building blocks of our future. In many ways, the decisions we make are the sum total of our beliefs, our fears, our desires, and our mindset. If we believe that we are capable of achieving something, we are more likely to take the steps needed to make it happen. Conversely, if we doubt our ability to succeed, we may hold ourselves back, making choices that reinforce those doubts. This is why it's so important to examine the beliefs that guide our choices. When we believe that we are worthy of success, happiness, and fulfillment, we are much more likely to make decisions that align with those values. However, our choices are not always made consciously. Many of the decisions we make are habitual, driven by past experiences or conditioned patterns of thinking. These automatic choices can sometimes work against us. Once we understand that our current situation is a result of the choices we've made up until now, we can begin to make more intentional, purposeful decisions moving forward. It's not about blaming ourselves for past choices, but understanding that we always have the ability to choose differently in the future. This awareness shifts us from a mindset of helplessness to one of empowerment. Change doesn't require drastic, life-altering decisions. It can start with the smallest choices. Deciding to wake up 30 minutes earlier to meditate, read, or exercise, for example, might seem insignificant, but over time, these small actions compound, leading to a more fulfilling and productive life. The key is to make intentional choices that align with the person you want to become and the life you want to live. Making different choices often involves stepping outside of our comfort zones. It requires taking risks, facing the unknown, and sometimes making difficult decisions that challenge the status quo. But this is where growth happens. It's when we choose to do things differently that we begin to experience the results we desire, whether it's choosing to pursue a new career, take on a new challenge, or let go of toxic relationships. Each decision moves us closer to the life we want to create. It's also important to understand that not every choice will be easy or immediately rewarding. Some choices may involve short-term discomfort for long-term gain. For example, choosing to prioritize your health by eating better or exercising regularly may require sacrifices in the short term, but the long-term benefits will be worth it. Similarly, choosing to invest time in personal growth or building new skills may take effort, but the rewards will far outweigh the effort you put in. Furthermore, making different choices often requires letting go of fear and embracing uncertainty. Fear of failure, fear of making the wrong decision, or fear of change can paralyze us, making us hesitant to take action. But we must remember that not making a decision is, in itself, a decision. Inaction can lead to stagnation, missed opportunities, and regret. The key is to take action, even if it's imperfect. Each choice, no matter how small, is a step forward. Ultimately, the life you're living today is the result of the choices you've made in the past. But the good news is that you have the power to make new choices at any time. By becoming more aware of the decisions you make and aligning them with your values, goals, and desires, you can change the course of your life. You don't have to wait for external circumstances to change. You have the power to choose a different path, and with every new decision, you can create the future you desire. A shift in mindset is often the most powerful and transformative step we can take when it comes to changing our lives. Our mindset shapes how we see the world, how we react to challenges, and how we approach opportunities. It influences every decision we make and impacts our level of success and happiness. If we want to transform our lives, we first need to change the way we think. The power of mindset cannot be overstated. How we perceive ourselves and our potential directly affects our ability to grow and achieve our goals. One of the most significant barriers to change is a limiting mindset. This is the belief that we are confined to certain limitations, whether they are imposed by others or created by ourselves. A limiting mindset often stems from past experiences, societal expectations, or negative self-talk. It might sound like, I'm not good enough, I don't have the skills, or I'll never be successful. These thoughts keep us trapped in a cycle of fear, doubt, and inaction. They prevent us from taking the necessary risks to pursue our dreams and goals. The first step in changing our lives is recognizing when we are operating from a place of limitation and actively challenging those beliefs. A shift from a limiting mindset to one of possibility is a game changer. When we change the way we view ourselves and our capabilities, we open ourselves up to endless opportunities. Instead of saying, I can't, we begin to say, I can learn how. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we start to focus on what we can develop and what resources are available to us. This shift in thinking allows us to approach challenges with a sense of curiosity rather than fear. It empowers us to take action, try new things, and step out of our comfort zones. When we believe that change is possible, we are much more likely to take the steps necessary to bring that change into reality. Another important aspect of mindset is the belief in growth. This is the foundation of the growth mindset, a concept introduced by psychologist Carol Dweck. People with a growth mindset believe that their abilities and intelligence are not fixed traits, but can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. They view challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than threats to their self-worth. In contrast, people with a fixed mindset believe that their talents are innate and unchangeable. They avoid challenges because they fear failure and believe that it reflects their lack of ability. The growth mindset, on the other hand, encourages us to embrace challenges, take risks, and learn from our mistakes. It fosters resilience and perseverance in the face of setbacks, knowing that every failure is just another step towards success. Adopting a growth mindset is essential for personal transformation. It means embracing the idea that we are always capable of improvement and that no setback is permanent. When we believe that we can learn and grow, we become more motivated to take action and more resilient in the face of difficulties. This mindset empowers us to push past obstacles, adapt to new situations, and keep moving forward, even when things don't go according to plan. A key component of shifting our mindset is practicing self-compassion. Many of us are our own harshest critics, constantly focusing on our flaws and shortcomings. We might be quick to judge ourselves when we fail or make mistakes, but adopting a mindset of self-compassion means treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a friend. It's about recognizing that we are human and that mistakes are part of the learning process. By being gentle with ourselves, we reduce the fear of failure and create an environment where growth and change can thrive. Self-compassion also helps us stay motivated. Instead of giving up after facing a setback, we can encourage ourselves to try again, knowing that our worth is not determined by our successes or failures. Another powerful way to shift our mindset is by surrounding ourselves with positive influences. The people we spend time with, the media we consume, and the environment we create around us all have a significant impact on our mindset. If we are constantly surrounded by negativity, doubt, and criticism, it can be difficult to maintain a positive, growth-oriented mindset. On the other hand, being around people who encourage us, challenge us, and inspire us can help us stay focused on our goals and remind us of our potential. Additionally, engaging with uplifting books, podcasts, or videos can provide the motivation and perspective we need to keep our mindset in a place of possibility. Finally, it's important to remember that changing our mindset is a process. It doesn't happen overnight, and it requires consistent effort. There will be times when we fall back into old thought patterns, but that doesn't mean we've failed. The key is to recognize when our mindset shifts back to a limiting or fixed perspective and to consciously reframe our thoughts. Over time, as we practice thinking from a place of possibility, growth, and self-compassion, it will become easier to maintain that mindset and use it to fuel our transformation. In conclusion, shifting our mindset is one of the most powerful tools we have for transforming our lives. By moving from a limiting mindset to one of possibility, embracing a growth mindset, practicing self-compassion, and surrounding ourselves with positive influences, we create the mental foundation needed for change. Our mindset determines our level of success, happiness, and fulfillment, and by choosing to think in ways that empower us, we open the door to a life of growth, opportunity, and transformation. Transformation does not require radical changes all at once. In fact, it's often the small, consistent actions we take that lead to the most profound results. Many people make the mistake of thinking that change requires a massive, immediate overhaul of their lives, which can feel overwhelming and impossible. However, the truth is that significant transformation happens gradually through small steps that compound over time. By starting with small changes, we set ourselves on a path of continuous improvement that eventually leads to a complete transformation. The idea of making small changes is based on the principle of consistency. We often overestimate what we can accomplish in the short term and underestimate what we can achieve over time. For example, if your goal is to get in better shape, trying to completely overhaul your diet and start an intense exercise regimen in one day might leave you feeling burnt out and discouraged. However, if you start by incorporating just a few healthier meals each week or taking a short walk every day, these small actions will gradually build up, creating a foundation for long-term success. The key here is that consistency, no matter how small the steps, is what leads to lasting transformation. Small changes are also easier to maintain. When we attempt to make drastic changes, the effort required can feel unsustainable. We might be motivated in the beginning, but the excitement often fades as we realize that we've taken on too much too soon. In contrast, small changes are more manageable. By making tiny adjustments to our habits or behaviors, we reduce the risk of burnout and increase our chances of sticking with them over the long term. These small changes become part of our routine and our lifestyle, and over time we look back and realize that they have added up to something much bigger than we initially imagined. Starting with small changes also allows us to build confidence. Every time we succeed in making a positive change, no matter how minor, we gain a sense of accomplishment that fuels further progress. For example, if your goal is to read more books, but you're currently reading very little, starting by reading just 5 pages a day might seem insignificant at first, but as you stick with it and gradually increase your reading habit, you will find that you're not only achieving your goal, but also building the confidence to take on bigger challenges. The act of starting small and seeing progress reinforces the belief that change is possible, which makes it easier to tackle larger goals in the future. The power of small changes also lies in their ability to create momentum. At the beginning of any journey, it can feel like you're not making much progress, but over time, small actions build on each other and lead to exponential results. For example, if you want to learn a new skill, starting with small lessons or exercises every day may feel slow at first. But as you continue to practice and accumulate knowledge, you will eventually find that you've mastered the skill and the progress feels almost effortless. This momentum is what drives us forward, and it's often the small wins that keep us motivated and moving toward our ultimate goal. In addition, small changes help us develop the habits necessary for sustained transformation. Our lives are largely governed by habits, and lasting change comes from creating new, positive habits that align with the person we want to become. Small changes are the building blocks of these habits. For example, if your goal is to improve your productivity, you might start by waking up 15 minutes earlier each day to plan your tasks. Over time, this small change can become a habit that not only improves your productivity, but also sets the tone for a more focused and intentional day. As you continue to make small, positive changes, you will find that these habits start to define your routine and your overall lifestyle, making the larger transformation feel natural and effortless. Small changes are also less intimidating, which makes it easier to get started. One of the biggest obstacles to transformation is fear of failure, fear of discomfort, or fear of the unknown. The prospect of making large changes can trigger these fears and cause us to procrastinate or avoid taking action. But by focusing on small changes, we break down the process into manageable steps that feel less daunting. It becomes easier to take that first step, knowing that we're not committing to a huge, overwhelming change all at once. Once we begin, we often find that the fear diminishes and that we are more capable than we thought. Moreover, small changes allow us to learn and adapt along the way. When we attempt a big change, we may encounter challenges that we weren't prepared for. However, by making small adjustments, we can learn from each experience and adjust our approach accordingly. This process of trial and error leads to growth, and it gives us the opportunity to refine our goals and strategies as we go. With small changes, we are better able to course correct, learn from our mistakes, and fine-tune our approach for greater success. Lastly, small changes help us appreciate the journey. Transformation is not just about the destination, it's about the process of becoming. By focusing on small, incremental improvements, we shift our attention from the end result to the small victories along the way. This shift in perspective helps us stay motivated, stay present, and enjoy the growth that happens each day. It also reminds us that transformation is a journey, not a race. Small steps are an essential part of the process, and every small step brings us closer to the person we are becoming. In conclusion, the key to lasting transformation lies in making small changes. These small actions, when taken consistently, compound over time and lead to profound results. By starting small, we can build confidence, create momentum, develop positive habits, and reduce the fear that often holds us back. Small changes are the foundation of transformation, and they prove that even the smallest steps can lead to the biggest achievements. The road to transformation is rarely a straight path. It is full of twists, turns, bumps, and unexpected detours. One of the most important lessons we must learn along this journey is how to embrace setbacks and failures as part of the process, rather than viewing them as obstacles or signs of defeat. Transformation doesn't happen without facing challenges. In fact, it's through overcoming setbacks that we grow stronger, more resilient, and more capable of achieving our goals. The key is to change our perspective on failure and learn how to use setbacks as stepping stones toward success. Many people fear failure because they view it as a reflection of their abilities or worth. The truth, however, is that failure is not an indication of who we are or what we are capable of. It is simply a part of the learning process. Every successful person has faced failure at some point in their journey. The difference is that they didn't let failure define them or stop them from moving forward. Instead, they saw failure as an opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. When we learn to embrace setbacks as opportunities rather than failures, we free ourselves from the fear of making mistakes, and we open ourselves to the possibility of growth. One of the most important aspects of dealing with setbacks is developing resilience, the ability to bounce back after facing adversity. Resilience is not about avoiding failure, but about learning how to recover from it. It's about being able to persevere in the face of challenges and setbacks, knowing that each setback brings us one step closer to our goal. Resilience is what enables us to stay committed to our journey even when things get tough. When we develop resilience, we stop seeing setbacks as roadblocks and instead view them as temporary hurdles that can be overcome with effort, perseverance, and a positive mindset. Another crucial element in overcoming setbacks is the ability to reframe our mindset. Instead of viewing failure as something negative, we can choose to see it as feedback. Every time we fail or face a setback, we are given valuable information about what's working and what's not. Failure provides us with an opportunity to reassess our approach, learn from our mistakes, and make necessary adjustments. When we adopt this mindset, setbacks become valuable lessons that help us improve and refine our strategies. This shift in perspective allows us to approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear, knowing that failure is not the end, but rather a part of the process that helps us move closer to success. It's also important to understand that setbacks are often not as catastrophic as they may seem in the moment. In the heat of a difficult situation, it's easy to become overwhelmed and discouraged. However, when we take a step back and look at the bigger picture, we often realize that setbacks are only temporary. They may cause us to pause or reevaluate our approach, but they do not define our entire journey. When we experience setbacks, it's crucial to remember that they don't have to dictate our future. What matters is how we respond to them. Do we let them hold us back, or do we use them as motivation to keep going? One of the most empowering things we can do in the face of setbacks is to practice self-compassion. Many of us are quick to judge ourselves harshly when we fail, often blaming ourselves for not being good enough or capable enough. But self-compassion is the key to moving forward with grace and understanding. When we are kind to ourselves during difficult times, we are better able to learn from our mistakes without being consumed by guilt or self-criticism. Self-compassion allows us to acknowledge our setbacks without allowing them to diminish our sense of worth. It gives us the emotional resilience to bounce back and continue pursuing our goals. Setbacks can also help us build a sense of perseverance and grit, the determination to keep going despite challenges. Perseverance is essential for long-term success because it enables us to stay focused on our goals even when things don't go according to plan. It's easy to give up when faced with difficulties, but those who persevere understand that success is rarely achieved without overcoming obstacles. Each setback is a reminder that we have the strength and the ability to keep pushing forward no matter how difficult the journey may seem. Also helpful to remember that setbacks can lead to unexpected opportunities. Sometimes the path we are on doesn't unfold the way we anticipated, but that doesn't mean we won't find new opportunities along the way. Setbacks may force us to reevaluate our goals, change direction, or discover new ways of achieving our objectives. They can lead us to uncover hidden strengths, talents, and resources that we might not have recognized before. By staying open to new possibilities, we allow setbacks to guide us toward better opportunities, helping us to grow in ways we never imagined. Lastly, setbacks provide us with a greater sense of appreciation for our success. When we face challenges and persevere through them, the sense of accomplishment when we finally achieve our goals is far greater. The journey becomes more meaningful because we have had to work through difficulties and navigate obstacles. Setbacks remind us that success is not handed to us on a silver platter, but is earned through hard work, determination, and resilience. In conclusion, setbacks and failures are not roadblocks to transformation. They are an integral part of the journey. By learning to embrace setbacks as opportunities for growth, developing resilience, reframing our mindset, practicing self-compassion, and persevering through challenges, we position ourselves for greater success. Every setback we face brings us closer to our ultimate goal, if we choose to learn from it and keep moving forward. Transformation is not a linear process, but with the right mindset and approach, setbacks can become the stepping stones that guide us to a better, more fulfilling future. Taking action is the fundamental step that transforms intentions and dreams into tangible results. Without action, even the most well-thought-out plans or aspirations remain ideas on paper. It is the consistent and intentional steps we take that move us closer to our goals. However, action is not always as straightforward as it sounds. Many people struggle with procrastination, fear of failure, or uncertainty about the best course of action. These barriers often prevent us from taking the necessary steps to create change. Yet, it is through action that we build momentum, learn from our experiences, and ultimately achieve transformation. One of the key factors that often prevent us from taking action is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, or fear of making mistakes can paralyze us into inaction. However, we must recognize that fear is a natural part of the growth process. Every great achievement has been accompanied by a certain level of fear or uncertainty. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. By acknowledging our fears and pushing through them, we learn that the discomfort is temporary and that taking action is the only way to overcome it. Another challenge to taking action is perfectionism. The belief that we must have everything figured out before we take the first step can lead to paralysis by analysis. We wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan before doing anything. However, perfection is an illusion. There is no ideal time to act, and waiting for everything to be perfect often means we never take that first step. Instead of waiting for the perfect plan, the key is to take imperfect action. Every step, even if not executed perfectly, is a step closer to our goal. Taking action builds experience, and with experience comes clarity and confidence. Moreover, taking consistent action, even in small increments, is essential for creating lasting change. It's not about making huge leaps every day, but about steadily progressing toward your goals. This consistency creates momentum, and momentum is what keeps us going when the initial motivation starts to fade. When we make a habit of taking action, whether it's making a phone call, completing a task, or learning something new, we build a routine that makes the process easier and more natural. Eventually, the act of taking action becomes ingrained in our daily lives, leading to steady progress and ultimately transformation. In conclusion, taking action is what bridges the gap between where we are and where we want to be. It's not about having everything figured out, but about moving forward with purpose, even in the face of fear or uncertainty. Each step we take, no matter how small, brings us closer to our goals and helps us grow along the way.